to drive your career, not just ride along? You're in the right place. Welcome to the Power of Owning Your Career podcast. I'm Simone E. Morris, your host and career strategist, here to give you the roadmap. Each week, we're cutting through the noise with strategies, stories, and insights to get you back in control. Your career clarity starts right here. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Season 15 of the Power of Owning Your Career podcast is here. I'm delighted to be back after some time off. I've had a great break from the podcast, but I've been getting emails from people wanting to be on the show, and I'm excited to get back in the interviewer's seat as well. I have some exciting episodes coming up for you to listen. But before we get started, I wanted to make sure you heard from me, the host, and to be inspired and empowered to really stay in the driver's seat in your career. We are living in interesting times, and so the workplace is very different and a lot of distractions. So it's easy not to focus on your career. I want to encourage you to be intentional and strategic, as I always say, about your career. And in doing so, today, I want to share 9 tips with you to keep you seated in the driver's seat. So here we go. Tip number 1 is really making sure that you get out of your own way. There is greatness in store for you, but oftentimes we can be feeding ourselves messages that say we are not great. And so I want you to stop talking yourself out of greatness. So, for example, you go after a promotion and you don't get it. Well, does that mean that you give up? Check yourself for the messaging that you're giving yourself around that, because it could be that you are telling yourself that you didn't get this opportunity, you're not great, and so therefore just keep doing what you're doing, keep playing it safe, keep doing what you're doing, and that's it for you. I want to make sure that you really check the messaging. Is it negative messaging? And do you need to tune in or plug into more affirmations on a daily basis? I remember the book, I'm forgetting the name of the book right now. I'm thinking of the book Nightingale, Earl Nightingale, I believe it is, where at the end of the book, he's talking about really having a confidence formula where you really every night you're writing down what went well for you, and you are course correcting. You are feeding yourself information. You're repeating this confidence formula that you have crafted for yourself, and it feeds in and allows you to really drive the car in the manner that you want to drive the car. You don't want to drive the car with bad gas. You want to drive it with that premium fuel. So I want to encourage you to really think about what's possible for you on your greatness journey, and to really make sure that you are your biggest advocate. Speaking of which, that's another tip for you, is to really bet big on yourself. Believe in yourself, unequivocally believe in yourself. And your language should reflect that you believe in your capabilities, you believe in your talents, and you show up with confidence as you enter and interact with others. So really bet on yourself. This show came about because I finally got in the driver's seat for my career, and I bet pretty big on myself. I left corporate America in 2013, started my company in 2015. It's now 10 years plus later. And that was a pretty big bet. And there were certainly people around who were encouraging me to play it safe from a job standpoint, but I continued the journey. And I also had people in my ear saying, "You got this, you can do this. Thank you, Stephen." And so I really want to encourage you to not only move out of your way, so really reach forward for the greatness, but also bet big on yourself. So those are 2 tips right there. Another tip is to really check your meter, your gauge on what you think about other people and what they think about you. Let me say it again. You don't need to be concerned about what other people think about you and your big aspirations. I want you to go for your big aspirations. If you're so focused on what other people think, then their feedback is going to limit your growth. And so I am big as a career coach on feedback, and I take my clients through 360 feedback reports or their performance reviews. And so feedback is insight and input into your career journey. At the same time, you need to digest and process that feedback and decide what you're going to implement and when you're going to implement it. So it doesn't mean that because you receive feedback from one or two people that broadly this is your behavior or this is your capability gauge. So keep in mind and really be thoughtful about the feedback that you receive and what other people say to you. I don't want other people to squash your joy. I want you to go after what you want. And I want to make sure that you have the community and the accountability and the education to be successful. Keep that in mind and don't let other people keep you down. So I write in the 52 Tips for Owning Your Career book to really check negativity and its influence on your career. We do need a dose or more of positivity to be successful. Another tip I have for you is really investing in your well-being, investing in a mental health practitioner. I strongly believe in therapy. Let me say this again. I strongly believe in therapy to navigate your career. When I think about the career hits that I had, if I had a therapist to really talk it through and process it and reframe it and bolster myself to come back out, I would be in a different place right now. Think about it. How has your career experiences impacted your ability to navigate the world, the workplace? If you had a manager that you were out of alignment with and you didn't feel like that was the best person to encourage you, and that person wasn't an advocate for you in career conversations, that could be hard to digest and process. And really, that can stymie you or that can keep you stuck. And we don't want that for you. We want you to be having some movement, having rich conversations, access to opportunities, building relationships with key strategic people, leaders in your career. So it's really important that you think about mental health and invest in that because quite frankly, I've had to do that. I've had some hits as a caregiver. My mom passed away from dementia, and that was a pretty jarring hit. That was a pretty jarring hit. And I think about it, I took a sabbatical, 3 months unpaid from work. That was a major career pivot. And thankfully, I had a career coach to work with me at that time, mental health practitioner. That's also good to have. When I think about leaving corporate America and starting a business, whew, it is a different ball game. And my therapist has been amazing. She has really helped me to navigate a lot of different situations because being an entrepreneur, there's a lot of up and down. And also being in corporate America or being in the workplace, there's a lot of up and down there too. So I want to encourage you to have on your success team a mental health practitioner. If you don't want to do that on an ongoing basis, consider having one-off sessions at pivotal times in your career. So if there's a moment that you need additional support with, you can hire a career coach for a session, a career strategy session. You can leverage your employee assistance program. Most companies have that as a benefit, and you can leverage that to have a conversation, talk through with someone what's going on and get some additional support. And I want that for you. That is a career success tip. coming from a career coach who's dealt with clients globally for over 800 coaching hours plus. So I know what I'm talking about here. I also want you to take time for joy. Oftentimes you can get so mired in working and executing and delivering that you don't make time for joy. And joy doesn't have to be a huge thing. It could be as simple as getting a latte at Starbucks. It could be going on a movie date or having time with your family for movie night or going to a festival. I know that my daughter has come to me when I'm deep in work and she wants my time, and it's not always easy, but at times I'll find myself saying, "Okay, Simone, you can take a time out here," and I'll close my computer and turn away from what I'm doing. So, what's the point of what I'm saying here? Joy is important, and it is that balance. So we talked about having a career coach. We talked about that a little bit. We talked about a mental health practitioner, and now we're talking about family and joy. And since I went there with my daughter, I'll also say another tip is family and really prioritizing your time with them. So there's joy for yourself, but then there's also time with your family. And by the way, when I say family, I don't always mean blood family. I'm thinking loved ones, people who can love on you when you need it and even when you don't need it. So there could be extended families. I have a lot of people in my circle who they're not blood relatives, but they really feel like family to me. Shout out to the bestie, Bridget. And so I want that for you. Another tip I have for you is believe the hype around networking. I cannot stress this enough. Networking, a lot of people say not working. I get it. But there are a lot of things happening career wise where it is relationship based. And you have to show up for people so that they can show up for you. Let me say that again. You have to show up for people so that they can show up for you. And that means out of your comfort zone. If you are a introvert like myself, it really takes a lot of additional energy to put yourself out there. And I'm telling you, when I go to some conferences and it's all day, and then there's a networking thing at night, I am not of the mindset to go. But I have learned with time and given myself grace to show up, to show up. And show up could mean you go for 30 minutes. Sometimes we think that showing up means we've got to stay 2 hours and we just don't have it in us. No, you can go for 15 minutes and engage and talk to one person or two people, but you're out there and you're engaging. And if you want, you can be very strategic about it. You can go to meet someone specific and have a conversation with them. So I myself am working on what I'm saying to you, showing up a bit more to engage with others. And actually, it's been fun. I think sometimes we can think that networking is not fun. But it can be fun. I've gone to some very different events and I've been having a good time. And so I want to do more of that. And also, I took my 10-year-old daughter to her first networking event and it was exciting for me to show her and to build up her confidence around networking. All right. So we talked about several different things here. Let me go back to my list of tips that I wanted to share with you in the opening episode. One is to make sure that you don't talk yourself out of greatness. Uh, when I think about our awards program that I'm putting on, I can see myself and evaluating how I talk to myself. If I'm not getting the results that I want in terms of people that are in the room and showing up for the event, it can be very disheartening. And the same thing in your career. You can be going for a job, you can be going for a promotion, you can be going for an incubator program, you can be applying for a grant. There are a lot of different opportunities that you can be going for. And if you don't get it, then very easily you can slink into negative self-talk, and I call that talking yourself out of greatness. So that tip number one was really make sure that you stop talking yourself out of greatness. Go for it. It is a learning experience, so go for it. Be careful about what you think, about what other people think. You can receive feedback, you can receive input, but don't let what other people think slow you down for what you want to do. Be sure to really make sure that your voice is in the mix when you're trying to make a decision about your career. It's not just what other people who provide feedback on your performance think. It's also about what you think about your capability, about your possibility, and what you bring to the table from a value standpoint. Also, mental well-being, can't stress enough how important that is. Make sure you invest in that for yourself. Be sure to embrace joy. And don't let rejection keep you down. I call that the pushback. Don't let rejection keep you back. Rejection is a message that says this opportunity is not for you right now. It doesn't mean that this opportunity is never for you. I remember going for a incubator program, and the first time I tried, I did not get in. And so I tried again and I did not get in. But the third time was the charm. They do say that the third time is the charm. And it worked well for me. But if I had given up after the first try, then I would have missed out on this game-changing life experience that I've had with this program. So I want to make sure that pushback doesn't keep you back. Get out there and do networking. There's a book by Keith Ferrazzi, Never Eat Alone. There are tons of resources. Kelly Hoey, who was on one of the earlier seasons of the podcast, has Build Your Dream Network, that book. There are resources out there for you to get better at networking or get better at relationship building. Trust me, you're going to need these relationships to advance in your career and to even be in the driver's seat in your career. So you want to make sure that you make time, make this a priority, building key strategic relationships in your career. I also want you to spend time with your family, make that a priority, prioritize your joy, and also say yes. Say yes to opportunities for yourself this season. Shonda Rhimes, her book, The Year of Yes, is a great resource. I want to encourage you to really say yes, even if there's some discomfort. I like to tell my clients, this is where we have to dance with discomfort, because it may feel like a stretch opportunity, and stretch opportunities are meant to stretch you. They're not always comfortable. And who wants to wear tight shoes? I know this is a joke. Tight shoes are uncomfortable. No one wants to wear tight shoes. But the point is that all career situations are not comfortable. Of course, I'm not talking about physical safety in any way, shape, or form, but I am talking about sometimes building capability is not always feel great because you're stretching yourself and you're going into a place that is outside of your comfort zone. So I want to encourage you to think about the opportunities that you want to say yes to and have these experiences. And above all, bet on yourself in your career. It is very important to do so. I hope you take the tips that I have shared with you today and that you implement them in your career and that you continue to be in the driver's seat in your career. This is Simone Morris signing off for the first episode, or the intro episode, for season 15. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. If you have, I'll ask you to support me by picking up my book, 52 Tips for Owning Your Career, or also you can share this podcast with someone or leave a review for the podcast. I very much appreciate you and that you continue to listen to the podcast, and I will be back for the next episode. Thank you, everybody, and have a great day. That's it for today's empowering episode. I'm Simone E. Morris, and I want you to remember that you are indeed the architect of your career. Share this episode if it sparked something in you. Subscribe wherever you listen, and find more resources at SimoneMorrisEnterprises.org. Keep practicing career ownership, and I'll be right here with you next week for more transformation.